हाँ जी, कैसे हो सब? So welcome back to another new video of C++ crash course with two projects and people who are new to our channel. Hello everyone, myself Lovepreet Singh. On this channel we do upload applied CS, applied OS, Java full stack, this kind of content. You can check that out from playlist section. And today we are putting C++ crash course where we'll be making one project end to end so that you can learn along the way, and we'll cover so many things like generics, templates, typecasting, C++ constructs, structs, enums, and a heck lot of things, right? So there are so many things in C++ like you have STL. Stay till end of the video and make sure you like the video, you subscribe the channel and comment your views in the comments, right? People who don't know, we have completed our Java full stack playlist. We have completed few of the courses like databases, operating systems, everything you should go through playlist section. And now we are running a live bootcamp that you can check out. Some video should be coming somewhere here, and we are running that bootcamp and we are building projects, mock interviews we are taking, people are taking assignments and a lot of things, right? You can enroll if it's meant for you. Okay, without any further ado, let's start. We'll start project structure. So basically what we are gonna build is ticket booking system. In Java full stack, we built ticket booking system and we gave some of the functionality to people to build. But today we'll build this end to end in CPP, and we will build this system such that it should be scalable. It should be scalable to bus booking system also, right? So that's why we will use generics. So I'm talking a lot of fancy terms. So let's come to the project structure first. We'll structure the project, and then after the structure we will start the project. Okay, so project where we are gonna build is ticket booking system, right? So what we're gonna do is that key we have a train, right? So a project structure is basically a kind of high level structure that will help us to comprehend when we'll make our project. So basically you have a train, right? The entities that we have, one of them is train. Another entity we have is user, right? So user is the one who will book the train, right? So we have train, we have user. So in train, what we should have, train has its own identity, right? So identity you can just simply call train ID, right? Train has its name. Train runs from a station like which we can call as source, and it goes till something like destination, right? It has some timing, right? So these are the things that train has, and whenever train is being booked, it will have some seat structure, right? Train seat structure. So let's take any bogie of train. So let's say this is one bogie of a train. Bogie is just Indian word, I think, right? Where you have seats like this, three seats here, and in front we have three seats, and in the sideways we have one seat above and one seat below, right? And these one seats, I think these are the seats for one or two people. So seat structure I will represent using a very simple data structure, which is vector, right? In C++, don't worry what vector is, what arrays lists are, we'll come to that. But how I am gonna represent them is that I will represent that using matrix, right? 2D array. So in array I will have seats like this. If seat is booked, if it will be 1. If it is not booked, it will be 0, right? Any structure you can use. Let's suppose in this is the train, okay, and these are the seats. How I am representing the data structure that I am using here is 2D list or matrix, you can say. But you can use any data structure. You can use map, you can use set. We'll use all of that while finding if ticket seat is booked or not. But don't worry, this is just a representation, and the data structure I'm using here to represent that is list. Okay, cool. I think everything is clear till now. Got it? So this is a kind of example that I am taking. Like this is how our train would look like. Okay, we'll use our local system as DB. Why? Because we want to check, or I want to explain you how file IO works in C++, because file IO is also a very important part of any language. So if there is any file, right, DB, so basically database will make out of files, raw files. Okay, so why? Because see, the project that we are making, the main intent of making this project is that you are able to understand different concepts of C++. Got it? So one of the concept is generics that I'll take care of. One of the concept is that using STL. One of the concept is taking input, printing output. Another concept is files, and another concept is threading. All these things should be covered in the projects, right? So files will be treated as my database. So whatever train I'm booking, whatever user are responsible of booking train, okay, they will be written to the files, okay, and we'll use those files to basically store our context of train user booking, right? Similar to train, we have another entity, user, right? And we have similar properties for user, like user ID, because we have to identify every user uniquely. User have some name, user have Aadhaar card, right? And user have booked some trains. So one user can book multiple trains, right? So what we can do is we can take a list of train, right? A list of train. So a user can book multiple trains, right? I can book, it's my choice if I am onboarding a train or not, but I can book multiple trains. So that's why I have a list of trains which will contain ideally the IDs of train, right? So if my train ID is string, so it will be a list of string, which means train IDs ka list. Okay, cool. Yeah, fine. So user have a list of trains which he booked, and I think he should have what you can say that every train seating arrangement that is also ID based, right? So what you can do here is that whatever train user is booking, right, we can store something called seat, right? So seat will make a struct for seat. So what structs are, will come to that. Okay, so basically we have to know what train user booked and what seat inside that train that user has booked, right? So that is one of the use case. So I think everything is clear till now, so let's proceed. So now these are the entities. Now apart from these entities, we have something called services, right? Services are responsible for uh, you know doing anything with train or user. So I have a booking service here. Why I will make a booking service? Just with a pure intent of making this service as generic, because I want to show you how we can use generics in CPP. So that's why I am doing this project as very structured project. And booking service will take a train, it can take a bus. Okay, it is a generic booking service, so it can accept any class. Okay, it can either accept any entity, or it can either accept train, or it can either accept bus. So T can be either bus, train, or whatever, right? Flight. Cool. So this service on an high level, as of now, on top of my mind, I can only basically expect some of the methods that I'll write here. So some of the public methods here should be that I should be able to book a train, right? I should be able to book a train using train ID, because train ID is the single variable that I will treat across my project as a generic variable, right? To do anything with train. So here my booking service is generic. So what I will do is entity ID. So my entity could be bus, train, whatever, and user ID. So a user is booking the train with ID this, and user ID is this, right? Now what we want to do is we can take a preference of user, like which seat you want, or we can write our own algorithm that, hey, we can tell the user, hey, we'll not give you any your preferred seat. There is an algorithm sitting here, we'll use your age and everything, and we'll give you a seat. So that's how we will write our business logic, and business logic should also reside in your service, right? So our business logic of booking a seat for a user will also be here. So user should have age variable also here, because we might use age, right? Okay, book train. Then another public method could be cancel train, right? So it has train id and user id. So we have to cancel the train if it user wants to. And we have to check print train, let's say. So user just okay, again, book train, it should not be train, book entity. Okay, so it should not be cancel train, it should be cancel booking, right? It should be just book, and it should be print booking, whatever booking you have, train, bus, whatever. So here it should be entity id, not train id. Print booking, so you have user id, you have entity id, right? These two things you need, and using these two things you will be able to print the booking details, right? So user should be, the requirements are user should be able to book, user should be able to cancel, user should be able to check his details using print booking function, and all of these functions are public. Public means they are accessible from any class, right? Okay, cool. So another public method should be save booking, because whenever we are booking a train, we'll put a logic of like find a seat for this user, and after finding a seat do some run some logic of if already booked or no, if train is empty or if there is a vacant seat. Everything, after doing everything, we have to store everything in our files. Okay, so to store booking and these things in our files, we'll use this save booking function, and we will store the train, right? Here we'll accept the train, and whatever train, or I should say entity, it is getting in its arguments, this function, it will go to our db, which is our local db files. Okay, so we will store here. Cool, got it. So this is a high level structure of our project. So I know it might seem complex, or for some it might seem very simple, but the thing is ki this project is a very good project that I have thought of, so that it will cover most of the things for C++ in practical manner, right? So let's start. I will build with you, I will use internet wherever it is needed, right? And because I am building this project with you first time, so let's create some files. So first file will always create main.cpp, right? And people who are not aware, please go on YouTube and check. If you are using Windows, use WSL in VS Code or cursor. If you are using Mac OS, please use UTM, okay, UTM Ubuntu server, and connect from your VS Code using remote SSH connection. Okay, so we will be coding every C project in Linux or Ubuntu, because there is no friction when you are coding C++ or C in Ubuntu, right? So in main.cpp we have to include some of the header files. So header files in cpp are nothing but a template. Okay, what do I mean by template? Let's come to that. So first let's write a very simple program, right? So it should be something like this, include some header, right? Then we have to include void main return, so let's say int main return 0. Okay, std cout hello world. So this is a very simple program that I am trying to write. What do we mean by end L? What do we mean by cout? We'll come to that. But before that, let's go and let's try to run this program. So we are using compiler which will compile this main.cpp file, okay, to main file, and then after using main file we'll run this. So we are getting hello world, right? So what just I have typed, I will explain that, don't worry, it's very simple. So this is a header file. If you hold control and click, you will go inside this header file. So header files are nothing but a template. Let's say I am a software engineer, right? So for me, I want everything abstracted. So that's why in every language, whatever software language you are using, if someone good programmer has written that software, he will always focus on abstraction. So what abstraction is? So in header files, let's say this is a header file of IO stream. right? Where printing anything, if you want to print anything, if you want to take input out, and you have to use something called these libraries, right? And these libraries have templates, like they will just have the function definitions, like here you can see they are using some of the names only, they are not giving you the implementation of any function, right? So if they only give you what you can use, there is a one keyword. So extern is also keyword in cpp. So I stream c in, we use c out just now in our main program, right? So in this io stream they have exposed c out as a functionality that we can use. But the thing is, what is the implementation when I will use this functionality? What exactly is the implementation that will be used under the hood, so that the things that I want to print should be able to print on the screen? Those functionalities are hidden. So that's the work of header files, that in header files we are not meant to declare any implementation. We are just meant to declare few of the interfaces, few of the constant things, and few of the things without their implementation, so that people can understand and directly use without going into the details. So that's how they're putting an abstraction layer on top of functionalities, which is a header file in C++ context. Cool. So extern keyword, you can always go on internet and you can ask extern keyword in cpp. So if you'll ask me, extern keyword is used to declare a variable that is defined in another file, allowing it to access in multiple files. So it's a kind of public, right? If you will declare any keyword as public, that keyword is, or that class is accessible across the files, right? Similar is the extern keyword but for the variables. So this variable c out output stream, if you'll go inside that, we'll come to that type def and all. This is the output stream, right? So yeah, people who are new to our channel, please go through C ka crash course first, so that you will be able to understand everything. Like we will not go through integer, string and all those things, right? So I am using std here because if you will click on std, c out, sorry, these c out, c in, c error, c log, these all things are a part of input stream, output stream, and that's it. So what I did is I have done like when I ran my executable hello world is being printed on my screen. So this screen is nothing but my terminal. Okay, so what is happening here is that my terminal is running, right? This is my terminal where I am executing some things, right? Terminal is just another program, right, written by someone. The responsibility of terminal is that it can communicate with different programs. So I have a program written which is main file itself, main executable of C++. So what I'm doing is I'm invoking this process, I'm invoking this program, right, from my terminal. So this terminal is using std out. So std out and std in is nothing but a standard input output stream. So stream is nothing but whenever you want to give input to your program, right, you will use input stream. So what does input stream is? Let's suppose on keyboard I type hello. So hello will go as a stream. What does I meant by stream is that consider this is as a sequence layer of characters where H will go first, then E, then L, then O, and then ending character, right? So it's like that. Okay, so stream is nothing but the name is self-explanatory that if it is a stream, it will flow like a stream, right? So if I am typing any characters, it will go like a stream towards my program, and that stream is represented using standard input stream. And anything that my main program is printing to my terminal, that will come from standard output stream, right, as standard output stream. So this stream will go in standard input class. Cool. I think everything is clear, right? So those stream, we have output stream. In Java also we have input output streams, right? Okay, cool. So to use this, C out is present inside the namespace. So namespace is nothing but a very simple way to declare something under a variable. So what does namespace means? In simple words, namespace is just a identifier. Okay, it's just an identifier which is used along with C out. So in future, if anyone declares the same name with extern keyword C out, if he is declaring under some namespace, let's suppose std, my std, let's suppose, then how I will be able to use, I will import his header file, okay, whatever header file he have used. So what I will do, my std, now this see out functionality will come from that programmer's library, not from my standard library, right? So that's why namespaces are used, so that in future if people want to use same keywords like see out, he can or she can declare his own namespace. Cool. I think everything is clear. So this is how we write print, okay, see out, and this endl is nothing but printing everything in new line. Okay, I hope everything is clear. Okay, and hello world, we, okay, we, okay. So you have to compile this again because we have changed something. Now we run. So hello world we is coming in new line. So that's the work of end l. End l is nothing. If you'll go inside, end l is template character traits, and l is a return flush os dot put this. So endl implementation, if you'll go inside, it's nothing but a white space character \n. So in computer language, \n is nothing but a new line character. So is it okay if I'll put \n itself here? It's a character, so I have to put it using single quotes, not double quotes. Okay, so let me check. Okay, and this similar thing we can do it directly here, \n. Okay, so \n is also working like end l. So end l is nothing but a fancy way to write \n, which is a white space character to enter things in new line. Okay, cool. So now I'll give this project some structure, right? First we'll make some entities. Okay, so entity that we'll make first is train.hpp. See, anything like struct, anything like constant things will go in hpp, and functions ka only definition will go in hpp. The implementation of function, the body of function will go in cpp file. That's how the structure is that people follow. Then another file is user.hpp. So train.hpp is nothing but I will use my own struct to make a train data structure, right? So structs are nothing but if you are using inbuilt data structure like list is only able to hold similar kind of elements. Like if I'm using a list of integers, I cannot hold integer and string in the same list, right? But if I want to do that, I can do that using my own data structure. And to represent your own data structure, you can use structs, right? So struct train, it will have let's use include iostream std string. You can, if you don't want to use this std and you don't want to extract string out of std namespace, you can use just using namespace std here. What it will do, it will only use std as a default namespace wherever you want to use. So here I will use train id, right? Train id, my string. Okay, what else we decided? Name. Then we have decided source. What is the source from where train is onboarding? Then destination, and then timings. For timings we'll use one package which is include time.h. time.t is a long, which means timestamp. Okay, fine. Time. Cool. So this is how we'll use our train. So let's declare it as capital train. Okay, so let me copy these things here, and let's declare our user also. User string name, username. But first of all, the thing which is important is user id, Aadhaar card, and list of trains. So the thing is, we'll use stl. So stl is a library of C++ which has its own map, hash map, list, set. Okay, so we'll use all of these data structures so that you are able to understand them. So if you will use a normal list in C++ that we have already discussed in our C programming crash course. You have to do something like this, right? But if you want to, if you are declaring this a array, right, with 10 elements, this array can't hold elements up to 11, right? The length or the size of this array is fixed to 10 elements holding 10 integers. So it's just it's not a dynamic array. It can't increase its memory along the way. So that's why we have vectors. So what you can do is this is present in vector.h, okay, or vector itself. So vector are nothing but they can hold as many elements as you want. So those are what do you say, dynamic arrays, right? Dynamic lists. So if you are not using a namespace std, you have to use std vector. Why? Let's see here. Let's comment, because okay, std vector, why? Yeah, vector, see this class vector that I want to use, this is a dynamic array, right? And this vector is under namespace std itself. So I have, if I'm not using that line, that using namespace std, I have to use std, and I have to access the vector out of that namespace. But the thing is ki whenever you will go inside the implementation of any container or anything in C++, you will see something like if def and def, right? So in C programming crash course, we have already discussed these things. Please go through that, okay? And the second project after this project in this video only, that is very complex, and that is very well structured and very a very good project, right? So that project, everything will use if def, in def, in and if not defined, and if, all those things, right? Okay, so vector, here you can see in vector.h, you will only see the definitions of class and everything. You will not see any implementation here, right? Okay, cool. So let's go to our vector. This vector will hold trains that this user has booked, right? So now this train, I have to include something, right? So include train.hpp. Now it should resolve, right? Cool. So we have train, we have user, and now we need a service. So let's create a service directory, and let's create booking service, right? And booking service dot hpp. And another thing that we want to create is file io.hpp, right? Let's create booking service. Booking service class booking service. Cool. So this booking service, it will have some private things, it will have some public things, right? So private are nothing but the variables or the functions that are only accessible inside this class. Public functions or variables are accessible anywhere, right? Anywhere across your project. Cool. So what we will do here is booking service, we should have some methods, right? We should have book method, right? So we have some public method, and the first method is, it will return nothing, void book, and inside this book method will give entity id. So entity id is a string, and second is user id, okay? So what we want to do is, we want to book a train. Cool. And this is a hpp file. So in hpp file, we don't do anything, okay? We don't write functions, we only declare functions, okay? So second function we need is cancel booking, okay, which entity we want to cancel, like train, bus, whatever, and which user we want to cancel this train for, right? and then void print booking, again string entity id, string user id, and last but not least save. So save method should be private because this method should be called by these methods. This save method should not be exposed to the world, right, to another files, right? So that's why this method should be private, because whatever methods should be accessible only in this class or is accessed by only these functions, they should be private, right? One of the reason is because it is not accessible across the files. No one can call that method directly and can modify your bookings, because this method save booking is responsible to modify your booking, right? Update or delete or whatever. So void save booking, we want to save the booking, and here we will get entity itself. Now this entity could be train, this entity could be bus. So how to make it generic? So there is something called generics in CPP. So let's go here. So generics, you can read like code reusability function. We have code reusability. You don't have to declare 2-3 functions for the same thing. Like for the train save booking, you have to declare one thing. For the bus booking, you have to declare same function another time, right? So you will be able to do all of this in one function. That's why generics are there. So what we will do, we'll make a, so here they have declared one function myMax, which is finding maximum of x and y. Now this x and y could be string, integer, long, double, float, whatever. So that's why they have given this as a t. T is a generic. So how you make a generic is template type name. So this is a template, right? And type name is t. So now it has declared t type name as variable. So whenever you will use myMax, you have to tell what type name you are using this myMax on. So here type, how to use the type, this is the syntax. So to use integer, it is using the function integer, then it is calling the function using 3 and 7, right? It's similar to Java, but the thing is in Java we don't have these keywords like templates, type names, right? So this is how you make a function generic. So how to make a class generic here is that here array class you want to make it generic. So you are using this thing at top of your class, right? And then you are using this at like while using this class you are using that everywhere, right? So I'll come to that, but the thing is ki array, public array, t, whatever, okay, cool. So working with multi-type generics. So if you want to use 2 generics instead of 1, how it is doing is a type name. Here what you have done is template type name t, right? So for to use the single variable, but to use 2 variables you are using template class t class u. So this is one of the difference, right? So in our use case we used to do type name, okay, and then template t, right? tus, whatever you want to declare, it's completely fine. And on save booking, here you have to use t. Now this entity could be bus, train, whatever. What it is saying is template type name, oh sorry, cool. Now this class is a generic class, so that's how you use generics in CPP. So yeah, cool. So we are done with our booking service. Now let's so this is how header file is. Now anyone who wants to use my this implementation as his library inside his project, so what he will do, he will only check this header file. I will declare some more using comments, what this function do, what this function does and all, and he will not go to my booking service CPP class. So that's how in CPP projects header files are treated, okay? So here you don't have to include IO stream because I will include booking service.hpp, so it will include everything, right? So include booking service.hpp. Now we have to implement all the methods, like these all methods that we have declared there, okay? So what we have to do, booking service. So now I have to make a booking service specific to train, right? So but still booking service, what is this saying? Please update your include path. Why? Include booking.hpp, it's correct only. Okay, cool. So booking service, and what we want to do here is that we want to declare first function, which is our book function, right? So book, so it accept entity id, it accept user id. Okay, cool. What does it saying? Let's check. Oh sorry, booking service dot silly doubt. Okay, accept. Okay, so cool. So, oh okay, it auto corrected this thing also. Yeah, so now I want to use booking service book. I have to use type name t everywhere because my booking service itself is annotated with my type name t. So my whole booking service is generic, so that's why I have to follow this syntax. Like I have to use this type name template everywhere, and I have to tell booking service that you are operating on t, although my book service is not using this type t. But anyways, so your booking service book, okay, and what we'll do, so whenever some user is trying to book any entity id, we want to read a file, right? File is our database, so let's create that file first. Okay, include iostream using namespace std. The file that we want to create is file io, right? Class file io. So first we want to, all the methods I think should be public only. So we want to use in file io, we want to declare some read file, write file and all. So first one is public you should read file, right? So what you will do here is json. So you have to use json, right? So json library you have to use. So json in cpp. So this library you have to use, right? So how to use it, let's see. So it's a header file library only, so you just have to download hpp file. So json library, yeah, json.hpp, got it. So everything is present here only. Okay, so we want to store stuff, we want to retrieve stuff in json format, right? And for that we have to use this library. So let's copy this, let's come to this point, external folder, I'll make json.hpp. cool. So this json library has everything that you have to use, right? So how to use this library, that also I will figure out with you on this video only, right? So that you don't find how I know all these things, right? On the go I will able to do this. Okay, so you have to include from external, no, you have to go here and one step up, external, and then json.hpp. cool. So how to use json.hpp here is std if stream json parse. Okay, json parse literals, first class data type, cool, json j, empty data structure, name, nothing, cool. But I want to use serialization deserialization to create a json value by appending json in a literal string. No, Custom data source, my container, advanced iterator. Store and retrieve JSON using files in CPP. Reading JSON files in C++ and storing also, right? So what I want to do, let me tell you. So I want to make a file, right? Let's suppose booking.json. So JSON is just a data structure. So what I want to do, is I want to declare all the booked trains or everything that I want to store in my DB, like this key. Let's suppose train ID, right? And train ID, then seats, who booked the seats and all, right? Then here my seats. So this is what we call as serialization. So whatever you will try to store here, like in public, you will declare one method which is save to files. So whatever you want to save the train, right? You want to save multiple trains, like let's suppose user 1 booked one train, user 2 booked second train. So in this file you want to store train as a first class citizen. What does it mean is that you want to store all the info of trains, because our service is train booking service, right? So you'll store what is the train, what is the structure of seats right now, who are the users who booked this train in JSON format, and that's what we call, from language perspective, is serialization. So whenever we will store anything from here, we will serialize it. Serialize means we will compact it such a way that it can go to a file, and when I take those content of my file back, my program should be able to understand that this is a structure that I can deserialize into this structured data. That's what serialization while saving, deserialization while loading, right? Everything happens like that whenever you use Python also, and you are using anything to store. That's how it happens, right? Language has to know some way how to interpret the data, right? So that interpretation is called serialization, deserialization, and we are using JSON library for that. So I want to check how to store things using people.json. They have people file. This will print the entire JSON object. Okay. The following lines will let you access the index object. That's how we want to store our whatever data in my files. I want to use this data as my local data base, and how it is being done. They want to, okay, they are using some they are installing it at a root level, but we have just used their json.hpp file directly. Cool. So string data main parse data. Cool. No, not this thing. Name data. Using structs. I want a structured manner, bro. Don't give me a road way to do it. So they have used a person struct, right? So person struct, how they are doing it is they are getting a JSON and convert JSON, copy each value into JSON object. So what they are doing is they are constructing a JSON. So how they are constructing, like this. Okay, I got it. Convert from JSON, copy each value from JSON object. So how they are constructing person, like this. Okay, cool. So I think I got the idea, right? I got how they are, it works, but that's quite a boilerplate. Fortunately, there's a better way. Okay, without boilerplate. Person conversion, person to JSON. Cool. Oh, this is also cool. Okay, so this is a very straightforward, and this is a extended version of using a norm and JSON library. Cool. So what we'll do is save to file. So void save to file. So we'll accept one entity, right? Here our file IO should also be generic, so that I can store my train, I can store my bus, whatever, right? So that's why I will give it is a template type name, right? T, and this save to file here is T entity I want to save, right? So file system file. Okay, file IO in CPP. I wanted to figure out everything on video itself so that you understand how to use, right? Let me know if you want to okay, host. I know. O stream, output stream, we want to output. Okay, out is equals to, so db.json JSON file we have, and outputs example txt through whatever, and o file dot close, because now we are done. Close this, and opens for reading the file. Okay, create an instance of of stream. Okay, sorry, it's not output stream, it's of stream, right? And cool. And after that we will close, and opens reads one string from a file and should output this. Got it. This will open a file without destroying the current contents, allow you to open new data. When opening files, be careful not to use them if file couldn't be opened. That's cool. Save and read and write from a file CPP. Okay, read data from file if stream file, read input file if stream file. Okay, if stream is input file stream, if stream file, I'll open db.json file, right? Then I have string, no, but I have JSON, right? So what we can do here is that use getLine, right? Okay, string content we have already discussed, like why to use getLine over C in or anything in C C crash course, right? I hope everyone is aware. GetLine, right? GetLine is getLine file content, right? So content, I have given the content, it will go on, the string will go here, and then we'll do I have json.hpp here, right? So let's create CPP directly. You can create file io.hpp like I have done for booking service, but I don't have time for that, so I will just do CPP. Okay, JSON J, that's how we are supposed to use it, right? JSON J. No, not in std, JSON. Cool. So now what I'll do here is that okay, so it was taking too much time for me, right? Because I have to go through internet and how to use this library. So quickly I'll go through it. So earlier we all already using JSON. So I wanted to check how to basically use directly from file right into JSON. So let's go first to this thing. Where do we do? Read from file, right? So when we want to read from files, in our file it's nothing but a JSON struct of multiple trains, right? Everywhere we will have struct train, right? This is the first thing, then second entry. What do I mean by this is that you have first train, then you have second train. So this is a JSON is nothing but a structure of our trains struct, right? But in a structured manner, like all of these things will go to this. So what we'll do is, see, we will have vector of entities. So entity here is train, so we have vector of trains, like multiple trains. So what we are doing is we are picking from JSON structure, we are picking train one by one, and we are pushing that to vector, our dynamic array. So again, file name is here, that is if you'll go here, file io, file name is db.json, that is private, right? And that file name is used to read the file, right? And then if file is not open, then just return the empty list. If file is open, this is the simple syntax that I was looking for, that whatever JSON you are using, put that into JSON, and you can remove that JSON, actually this thing, right? No, sorry, not this thing. Okay, I have already removed the global variable JSON. So yeah, fine. So you have used JSON, right? And put that, close the file stream, and now you will go through each item in JSON, right? Cool. And inside JSON you will create, so as I've already told you, JSON is a collection of multiple trains. So we are going through each entry of our JSON and we are converting that to train, right? And then we are pushing those two entities here, this entity, where is it, this entity, right? This is a type T, which is train itself. So we'll fetch the trains like this. So whenever we want to save any thing to our file, right, what we'll do, let's suppose any new booking is there, right? What we'll do, we'll make a train struct and we'll push that to our DB. So this is a save, right, and read. So we have not yet made delete, right? Delete you can anyways make. What you can do, you can just read everything from file, which train you want to delete, which booking you want to delete, just go make a delete function, okay? Or I can make that a delete function, take a booking ID. So whenever you are looping, just check if train ID is equal to whatever you are booking ID taking here, or train ID, sorry. So that entity ID, whatever you are taking here, you can just so this is read train from file, because this could not be generic, I think, because this is vector, this is train ID. So to make it generic, you have to convert train also, right, to entity. This should be entity, this should be entity, or vehicle is a good name. So this is vehicle ID. Cool, vehicle ID. Right now this file system I can use generic, not train, vehicle. Cool. And inside booking service, okay, vehicles. Cool. Here also we're not using any train, we are just using entity ID, which is vehicle ID at the end, right? Okay, cool. So we are taking entities. So this booking is a vehicle could be train, or so what was happening here is that whatever DB I am using, that should also be generic. So that was using train ID, so that's why I made this vehicle ID. Now this vehicle could be anything. This T will always be though replaced, right? this t can anyways be replaced. That like right now we are using vehicle as a generic type to extract or save into the file, right? So but the thing is whenever we want to treat this thing as a train, so we can use a wrapper, right? We can write a wrapper out of it. Like whenever we are reading from the file, we are reading a vehicle here, right? And the type here also will pass vehicle only, this thing, right? Type also will pass vehicle only. But the thing is let's suppose in future we want to treat this vehicle as a train specific. That's what generics are used for. So what we want to do is, so we want to use uh, basically train. So what we'll do then, that instead of vehicle, parallelly we will create a train which will have all the specification of train, and we will write a function which will convert vehicle to train. Vehicle struct to train is nothing but like just take vehicle id, put in train id, just take vehicle seats, put in train seats. It's just that one struct to another struct conversion. So in if any function like booking service, it is dealing with this typecast as train, right? What we will do, we'll just whatever we have used file io for, we have extracted vehicle, we will convert that vehicle to train and pass here. Okay, I think that also will do. Train.hpp, that's how you will learn, right? Vehicle is a generic struct, train is not. Okay, so user will always book a vehicle, and you can convert any vehicle to train, right? So here we can maybe in HPP itself, although you should not make this thing in HPP, but anyways, okay. So here you will make a train, oh sorry, I'm treating that as a class. Train dot train id, I have to pass vehicle. Generate other attributes for train also. Cool. So name, source, everything we have, and return train. I think that's it. Convert. Okay, we'll use it, don't worry. Cool, we have file io. Now I hope everyone should have understood this will be vehicle id. So yep, so we are able to save, we are able to whatever. Yeah, so instead of storing seats here, I think we can store user itself, because otherwise what we have to do is, instead of making trains, json of trains cut, you have to make users json also, because anyways, so what I'm trying to say is that instead of storing integer seats, otherwise you have to maintain the database of users also, just store the users, which seat is booked by the user, right? So we'll just try to modify this. So here instead of 10, what we'll do is we will store user. Okay, here you will store user 1. Let's suppose user 1, it's not booked by anyone, so nothing. User 2, this is null, so something like this, right? So that I don't have to maintain a different DB for user itself. So that is the thing. Include user.hpp, and here user will come. I think yes. Cool. And user have all the vehicles that are booked for the user also. Okay, cool. And whenever it is booking, so user have to save that booking. Okay, cool. Vehicle also, it should have user, and let's convert include, and here you have to make seats is equals to vehicle dot seats, and vehicle dot seats itself is user vector. Yeah, cool. Now let's go to booking. Whenever a user books, so we have to make a user who is booking a train, right? So we'll first of all we'll do user struct user. Let's include everything, and here you should include user also. So you have made a user. Now user is booking something, right? So even if he is booking train, even if he is booking vehicle in general, that is a generic struct. Whatever he is booking, we have just user, right? User dot user id I have to store, right? But what we have to do here, instead of that let's directly get user here itself, right? So we are booking a train, we have to make a train. So in file io, whenever I am storing, I have to store a train, right? So let's make a train vehicle, and struct vehicle is there, right? Vehicle id. Name, source, destination. So whenever you are booking, you have to take some more things, which is string, which entity you are booking, which name you are booking, which destination. Okay, now I have just generate booking code for vehicle. I don't want to, dot destination equal to destination. I don't want to read this, write this. So this whole thing, and also modify booking service dot hpp code to resemble the method signature. Now while saving, I am just calling save booking. So book save booking, right? And inside save booking I have to do this. So inside save booking I am just taking entity. Okay, so here what I will to do is file io, and for that I have to include file io.cpp, file io dot save to file, entity. Okay, cool. So I will only try two videos already, I think 1 hour plus. So I'll try to I have given you a gist of how to write booking service, how to save booking. So I think these two functions anyways, or either LLM also can do, but you should try cancel booking and by yourself. So let's try to use all of that. So first of all, what we will do here is string user id and string name, string, let me string Aadhaar card, and then what you want to do here is vehicle is anyways first time when user is logging in. So I'm like in Java project we have made login sign up option also, but here we'll just ask guest login, like user ka naam Aadhaar card will just ask, and we'll try to book a train and we'll try to push that train to our booking.json thing, right? Okay, so take input from user for user id, name and Aadhaar card, and make vehicles array empty. So this is straightforward, just like enter user id, take user id, enter name. So this is how you can take user input output. So I didn't want to use write that include. So in entities you have to include vehicle, entities, okay, vehicle, and you have to include user, and that's it, right? So you have made vehicles also. So what you will do now is that you will ask user to do something like, right, enter the option, right? So what we'll do here, I think endl should come, and see out, enter 1 to book train. Get in input, if user enters 1, use switch case to take input as train name, train id let's also take from user anyways, because otherwise what you have to do is you have to write a function to find the train that user wants to book from your train.json that you have to create, user.json that you have to create, right? Train.json will hold all the train that are available, user.json will hold all the users which have signed up on our platform, and you have to write 2 extra function. Whenever user enters, you ask user id and try to find all the users from that file user.json, and try to check if user already exists. If yes, then user will be able to log in, otherwise save that user to your db. So these all kind of functionalities will take so much of time, so that's why I am directly jumping and I am asking train detail from user itself, right? Train id, source, destination, etc., right? Cool, let's generate. Cool. Switch case is nothing but if else. So if option he chose as 1, right? As of now we only have one option. So enter train id, enter train name, enter source, destination, then we'll make a user itself, right? After using a user, you will make a booking service, and I think for booking service we have not included enough details, so we have to use service, and you have to use booking service.hpp. ठीक है. So booking service, you are giving the type name here, type name is vehicle. Now you are trying to book the train. So train booked successfully, and then we'll check if detail is stored in the file or not. So that's a mini train booking system. I have not enough time, I have to go to office, and rest I think you guys can complete. We'll check this rest things are I will give you the structure at the end of the video, what else you have to do, although ChatGPT will also can do that, but you should try that on your own. What is it exactly saying? These silly mistakes I always do. Resolve the error. Okay, cool, but what was the issue? Okay, we didn't include user. Cool. No, that is not the issue. I think this should be fine. Let's check. Terminal, I don't think it will run without writing a make file or cmake file, because the linking and everything that has to be done. But anyways, let's check main.cpp. Okay, we have got a lot of errors. Let's try to fix that. Template argument 1 is invalid. User was not declared in this scope. Cool. It took me 30-40 minutes to debug. So in CPP projects, always you will find one issue, that is linking issue and type conversion, all those things, right? So one of the issue that I have figured out is pragma once. So basically it is like similar to if not defined, like if not defined, then define train HPP, let's suppose, and at the end you what you'll do, sorry, at the end you will do and if, right? So what does it mean is that whenever you include a train.hpp file, it will be included by cpp compiler once, right? And then in any another file, if you can include that again, it will you reuse the already included file, right? So that you have to do first of all. Then second thing is, in every hpp file I have done like this short form pragma once, right? And in vehicle, this we have already seen that when we are converting, though we are not using the conversion, we are not using the conversion from vehicle to train, right? But there is one thing, and that is that your user have vehicles, right? User can book multiple vehicle, and a vehicle can be booked by multiple users. So many to many mapping is there. A user can book vehicle, a vehicle can be booked by a user. So a cyclic dependency is there. So the people who like work in Java, they should have known that cyclic dependency is a bad thing and your program will not compile. So we have to take pointers in that case. So I have took pointers of vehicles for a user. So whenever user will book a vehicle, it will be a pointer to a vehicle. We have already discussed pointers, right? And so for that we have used struct vehicle also, and in vehicle we can use concrete user, right? So this is the one thing. And then when if you'll see that in booking hpp, right, we have made some templates, right? So we have made a template service which can book a seat for a user for any entity. This entity could be train or bus, right? As of now, just consider this entity as a generic entity, which is vehicle that we have considered. Now the thing is that I have just asked ChatGPT, then it has said that you have to make a template specification for the vehicle, for the train itself. Otherwise you can't directly go and implement vehicle and train. So I have implemented template implementation for vehicle, right? To book a vehicle, I have implemented that. So all those things, to book a train also, I have booked like I have not booked a train, but I have implemented the train also. So for that, this is the notation. So that it was something new for me also. I have not used these templates as much as I have used today. I always use Java based coding, where I make interfaces, kind of like abstract classes and stuff. So yeah, all those things. The thing was ki pragma once, right? This pragma once was missing. Then vehicle pointer, because of dependency injection, was the issue. And then the issue was that whenever I am giving a concrete implementation for this template, which is train or which is vehicle, I have to make sure that I do declare these templates in my hpp service also, right? So then you can see that this one is similar, file io. This one is similar, like whatever we have done. The only thing is that we have made file io.hpp also, because that is the good thing. So I was just tinkering here and there, so I asked ChatGPT to make file io.hpp itself, because that is the like correct implementation, right? Like declare hpp first and then cpp file. So this again, we have declared the concrete templates, like there is save to file, read to file for these templates. Cool. And this is the generic template class. So in cpp file, this is, you can see that for vehicle I have saved to file, okay? and for vehicle we have read from file. And similarly, like similar is the implementation for train, right? Now there could be a question that you can ask, that why what is the implement like use of generics itself if you are using this train and entity like vehicle differently, right? So okay, so now here I have just asked ChatGPT that you can see that I asked that what is the use of templates if I have to give a concrete implementation for train and vehicle differently. So what it is saying is that it's not defeating its purpose of templates. So template is just basically giving a template a structure that this is how you can use the functionality. It is kind of interface only, but the thing is you still have to give the implementation of trains and vehicle if both of them have different fields, different behavior that we have different, right? So as you have already, you know, when we were going through the process, you've already seen that we structured the project, then we were trying to use train and bus as our generic template types. Then along the way we figured out that vehicle and train make sense, and then we figured out that vehicle and train would have different behavior, right? So that's how actually you make the softwares itself, right? So that's why I was making this project live only, so that you will be able to understand that nothing goes as planned, right? So the thing is that we planned, it helped us a lot, like reading file, booking a service, and all those functions that we have defined. But along the way we figured out that vehicle, bus or train, like vehicle is a generic class, train and bus could be different, like the seating structure itself could be different, and you know, different things could be different. So what if, so it is saying, is it defeating the purpose of templates? No, you want to keep the interface consistent. That let's suppose file IoT, it is a same thing for train and bus, right? But if vehicle and train had exact same field and structure, then a generic template without specialization would work. So we have different types. Along the way we figured out that train has train ID, vehicle has vehicle ID. If we'll make bus, if we'll make train, and both has just ID, right, and everything else is same, then we can use templates as it is. But right now train and vehicle are different, and that's a good point that they are different, so that you also now know that if they have different behavior, like different fields they have, like train ID and vehicle ID, then you have to like your interface, whatever you have made, this, you know, this thing, this will just act as a common interface, not a template, common interface or class, right? So anyways, so this is the one thing that I have also, you know, not taken into account, but that's a good thing. Now let me first make sure I do make clean. Yeah, so now file io.hpp, then here also we have entities that we are using are train and vehicle. So those are different, our design flow. We should have done like both bus and train, and both has similar fields. You can try that, ChatGPT will do that instantly, but I would say try that from your side. Okay, now in main.hpp we have just taken like what is your, so I have less time today, so what I could have done is I have asked a user, okay, what is your username, what is your whatsoever, then I will create a user service also. And like booking service, I will create a user service that will use my file IO to read all the users, that will check if this user with this ID whatever I have given to the system exists. Yes, then user is a valid user, otherwise add that user to user.json, whatever file I will create. Here I am creating, you know, in file IO, if you'll see here I am creating db.json, I think somewhere file io.hpp I am creating db.json. For that, what you will do, whenever you are creating a user, pass a file name itself, user.json, right? So endless possibilities are there, but the correct behavior is sign up or login a user using user ID that is coming from user.json. Okay, then what you will do is that you will fetch train using train name. So user will say that this train I want to book. You will fetch the train from train.json, which will store all the trains, then you will book. Now while booking you will check if in the booking detail itself, fetch train using train ID. Okay, and Even if you will paste these instructions to ChatGPT, he will make everything possible. But the thing is, you should try this first if you are learning C++, and it will take more time for me. I have to go to office, but these things you can do instantly after this. So you'll take the code from description itself, don't worry. So you will fetch the train, you will fetch seats. Now seats are nothing but user itself, right? If a seat is booked, a user will be there. If it is not booked, if it will be null, right? If a seat is already booked, fine. If it is not booked, then book a seat and store user there, and store that to booking.json file. Let me know if anyone will complete this project in the comment section. I couldn't complete this project because of time, because I have to do a lot of things to make train.json, user.json. I've already done that in Java, but I wanted to give you a flavor of C++, how to write it, how to make it, scalable, a good code, right? So now I will, if user will say 1, I will take train ID, train name, station, destination. I will create a user. Then what I will do, I will use booking service ka vehicle wala method, and will try to book. Here you can see controls click, book is method is here. I'll make a train, I will save booking. So save booking function, you can go and you will check. Save booking is nothing but file io.save. Okay, and then we'll just say train booked successfully. And make file, we have already covered this in our C crash course. Make files are needed. Why? Because otherwise whenever you will do this, let's say you do this g++ main, it will give you an error because it will not be able to find the implementations. Why? Because .hpp file doesn't know where my implementation is. Its implementation though is in the same folder, but the thing is booking service.hpp implementation is booking service.cpp. So you have to link those files. So for that you have to make a script which is make file, and you have to give this all that what are the source file, these cpp files, where you can find the .h files that you also given for the linking itself, for the linking process, right? So these things we have already covered. So what you will do, just run make, and it will make a booking system executable. Now let's run this booking system. Enter your user ID. Now the functionalities that I've implemented in this project is minimal, not up to the mark, but I think you guys can complete. Even ChatGPT can. But the thing is, you should put efforts. If you have come this far, this project you should complete, and only few things are left. I have given you an idea that how to go ahead, right? My user ID, let's suppose, is LP123. My name is Lovepreet Singh, right? So user ID LP123, my name is Lovepreet. So if I will give space, and it will only take Lovepreet, and Singh it will automatically take in my Aadhaar card. So after, because after name, if you'll go after name, where is it? After name I am asking for Aadhaar card, I am using cin. So cin, it takes input up to space, so you have to use get line. I have not used that, so that's why let's remove space. Aadhaar card whatever I have given, or enter option. As of now I have only implemented one option, that is to book the train. One train ID, let's suppose 123 is the train ID. Train name is, let's suppose, Punjab Mail, MAIL, sorry. Source station is, let's suppose, Amritsar. Destination is, let's suppose, Delhi. Train booked successfully. Now your local DB is created, and you can see we are using library which is where is it, json.hpp, which is from Noloman JSON. So I have created one train whose source is Amritsar, whose destination is Delhi, or time of booking is this, vehicle ID is this, and the seats I am booking. And at the seat, what I am storing, I am storing a 2D array, right? A 2D array. Here you can see a 2D array I am storing, right? A 2D array, but instead of binary numbers I am storing the user itself, and user have Aadhaar card, name, user ID. So I hope you have enjoyed the project, right? On the next project, which is in this video only, we have already made that, but I would suggest you to refer that project after this project. And that project is end-to-end completed, because it took me 1 week to complete that project. But this project I have made live with you guys all on the video itself. I have not prepared anything. It's just that I paused the video for 30 minutes because I was not able to check the cyclic dependency and all. But other things you can check, we have already explained, right? And I hope everyone should have get the flavor how to go coding in C++. And the thing is that other functionality also you should be able to complete that now. And code you can get from GitHub description itself. And that's it for today, right? Just go to next project and yeah, bye bye. More refined way to use this queue is to accept the incoming messages. How we'll store 11 here, and if we have a null character also. The session I have chosen, this session all the messages I am delivering, right? If the queue is piled up, so I am making sure C1 is connected, C2 is connected, only one thread is running, which is main thread, because till this point I have the access to the room and it should have the access to the message queue and size. Hey everyone, so let me set the context for this video. So basically we'll make a chat room application from scratch in C++ today. And this video is gonna be a value bomb for you. Why? So we're gonna cover so many interesting stuff, including how to write your own protocol so that our server can understand that, how to use async IO input output, right? How to use complex libraries like boost library of C++, and how to use multi-threading, how to use debuggers, how to debug C++ code effectively, right? And this project you can add in resume after our extension. I will give you homework of extension that this project may be extended little bit more. So yeah, that's it, right? So I'll start the video quickly. So let me reiterate again. So we will be going through each and every step of how to define your own protocol so that your server can understand messages, how multiple clients can join your server, and to be precise, how multiple clients can join your room, right? How we can create session per client, and so that one client can send messages to all other clients present in that room, right? And all of this happening is through async IO, right? So the people who have already done our applied operating system playlist, they would be able to understand this project more in better terms. But people who are just new, it is also fine, right? That I understand that you guys need a kind of scratch basically the understanding the TLDR of some topics, right? So yeah, no worries. So I will be giving that to you. So I will be running through all the threading, event loop and everything that we are using here. So without any further ado, let's start the video. Okay, I think everyone is able to see my screen. So yeah, so basically before starting the video, I would like to I would like you all guys to comment in the video, right? And like the video, share the video, so that we can reach to more people. And soon we'll upload our new playlist, which is applied DBMS, database management system. And along with that, we're going to launch something for people who are interested, right? Who are interested in building something or learning on their own or learning with me, right? I'm not going to launch any course, don't worry. So yeah, so I will going through some of the HLD LLD kind of mixture, right? So that you can get an basic idea keyword we're gonna do, implement, and all the stuff. So yeah, basically this is our server, right? This is our server. Let me make it large, right? Server, and this is our client, right? So server client model, I hope everyone knows that client is able to request to the server, right? Client is able to make request, and server is able to respond to those requests, right? This is a very basic client server model, right? And just give me a minute. Yeah, and this also, yeah. So client requests, right? It make a request and server gives a response, right? Now this request can be made through any protocol. Now what is a protocol? So basically whenever you are trying to communicate with someone, right, you need language so that you can
understand the other person, intentions, their whatever they are speaking. So there is something called rules, so that other two-way communication can be done. So those rules combination we call as it is कि this is a protocol, इसको protocol बोलते हैं, right? सो प्रोटोकॉल कुछ नहीं है, एक सेट ऑफ रूल्स है जो हम डिफाइन कर देते हैं. जैसे एच टी टी पी इज़ अ प्रोटोकॉल. सो एच टी टी पी हैज़ बंच ऑफ रूल्स लाइक इट शुड हैव वर्जन, इट शुड हैव connection alive, it should have some bits, it should have some encryptions in all these bits, right? So different kind of rules. So what we are doing is ki this is a simple client server model. So in our today's video, what we'll do, this is our server, right? So whenever a client joins to a server, right, now I will make a high level diagram for the server, right? So whenever a client joins a server, so our server is basically a chat room, a broadcast room, or Discord channel, right? So what it will do is a client joins, right? A client joins. So whenever a client joins, what we'll do is for that client we'll create a session, right? We'll create a session. So the people who are interesting, you can go to GitHub, right? And you can go to chatroom. The detailed one, the detailed LLD I have posted here. After the code implementation, it will look like something like this. Okay, it will look something like this. So it is kind of scary, but don't worry, I'll explain you, and after that, after code, you will get here and you will try to understand. Okay, you have to do it. So yeah, this is a server where people wants to connect, send message and all. Whenever a client request comes, right, a client request comes, right? So we'll create a session for that client, right? Now after creating a session, we will we will have one room. Whenever a server is created, that server should have one room, right? Now this is a chat room, right? So whenever a server is created, we have to make sure that a room exists, and it will exist at the start of the server, even though if the client is not there, if no client is there, right? If no client has connected yet. So yeah, I think it's fine till now. So the next step is basically this room. I've created one session for that client. Now this session will be able to manage some things, right? So what are those things is this session itself will have some stuff in it, including some queue, right? A message queue, right? So here I'll say message queue. Every client will have its own session, and every session of that client will have its own message queue. Now whenever client will send message, right, whenever a client will send message, right, it will come in this queue, it will come in this queue, right? But more refined way to use this queue is to accept the incoming messages. How we are doing that, let me explain you. So whenever a client send message, we are directly pushing that message to our room queue. Now this room queue is a global queue for everyone, right? This is the client one. We have created a session. So whenever client wants to send message to that server, what we'll do is we'll directly send that message to this queue. This is a room queue. Now here multiple clients can send messages, right? Now we are talking about only one client. Bear with time, right? I will explain about other clients also. Now these messages are being delivered from clients, right? Let's suppose now another client comes into the picture, right? Another client comes to the picture, and it will have similar thing, which is a session. Every client will have its own session, right? So whenever this client is sending a message, it will push that message to here, right? Here. So two messages will be there in the queue, right? Now each room has a kind of set, right? Each room has a kind of set, which is participant set. So it has all the participants who are participating into our what do you say, this room, right? So participant 1, participant 2. So basically what I will do is every participant has session, right? So in terms of LLD, what I will do, I will create a participant class, okay, and every participant, this class is a generic, so every client is a participant, right? So this is a participant, and every participant class is extended, and I will make a new class which is a session, right? Session class. So that's where this session is coming from, right? This session. So from this class I will implement, this session will have message queue, right? This session will have write, read, all those methods. Those are secondary, but the high level view is this. Whenever the client will be passing a message to the server, it will pass that message to a room which this client is a part of, right? This client is a P2. P2 is a participant though, but participant again, session is a subclass of participant. So if I will tell you a session or a participant, it is the same thing, okay, in our further video also. Okay, so now two clients have delivered two messages and I have a participant sets. Now I know that this message came from client 1 or P1, this message came from client 2 or P2. Now this message, all the clients I have to send this message, but not to P1, because see, I am sending a message to WhatsApp group. It should deliver to all the participants excluding me, because I am the one who sent the message, right? So this client 1 or participant 1, it should not get its own message, and this client 2, it should not get its own message. That's why we are maintaining a participant set, so that when I am sending this message, what I will do, I will send a message to client P2. I'll put this message to message queue, right? And this message which is being sent from P2, I will send this message to P1. If there is another client, let's suppose 3 clients, so I will send first client message to client 2 and client 3, right? Because C1 is the one who sent the message, right? I don't have to send that message back to C1, right? Now let's suppose there are 3 clients and C2 sent the message, then that message has to deliver to C1 and C3, right? So let me give you an example. Let's suppose C1, let's take C2. So C2 is the one who sent a message to the server, right? So all the clients which are the part of that room, right? Let's suppose C1 and C3, these all are the part of that same room, right? And that room is handling those messages. Now whenever this C2 will send a message, so it should deliver to, the message should deliver to C1 and C2, C3, right? Okay, whatever, C3, not to C2 back again, right? So that's why we are maintaining a participant set, so that I can keep a track of how many participants have joined my room, participant or session, right? Because these are both classes, like who are extending, basically this is a parent class, this is a subclass, right? So again, this message queue is for the incoming messages. So this client has message queue which is for the incoming messages, and this server has the message queue which has the incoming message to the server, right? So that it can have, let's suppose when some client is taking time, right, other clients might accumulate this queue, they might send too many messages in this queue, right? So when another client is busy in handling the messages, then these messages flow, right? That's why queue based implementation is there, so that we don't lose any message in between, right? So that is the core functionality, right? We have participant set, we have message queue, we have room, we have session, and we have participant. So participant is nothing but I just to give an idea of object oriented programming, I just made a participant, right? And I've referred someone repo, and basically I took the design idea from there, then I've decoded it according to my needs, and then I've coded that and debugged this, and now we are here, right? So this is kind of overall idea that we'll try to do. So what we'll be using it there is, we'll using threading, we'll be using boost library, async IO, right? And we will be using some makefile. So the people who are new to our channel, they can refer our C crash course, is just 2 hours long, right? Very basic course, and it will give you a very good TLDR of your or it will give you a good revision of your C concepts, right? So I would highly recommend you to go there and refer that course before, so that you would be able to see how makefile works, right? Okay, now the another thing is CPP. Oops, although our CPP crash course is also coming for the beginners, but the people who already know CPP, they should be able to do this project or extend this project, right? And the last thing is, I think, memory management, right? And protocol design. So this is the design that we'll be following. LLD is already given to you here, right? That I don't want to explain as of now because you will be overwhelmed by my explanation otherwise. But anyways, let's get back to the coding part. Okay, so first of all, why I'm designing a message. So basically, whenever I am in the server, right, client is sending some raw message, so I will be using sockets, right? So everybody, I think everybody is aware about the sockets, right? Socket is nothing but a kind of API that our operating system provide us, so that we can use use those network, APIs to send or receive any data over the network, right? So these are nothing, you can read more about this, but like one blog you can refer and it's enough, right? The sockets, yeah. So whenever the client is connected with server as a socket, right, that server will be able to handle that client, right? But the thing is ki this server needs to understand this message. So what it will do is, client will send the raw message. Let's suppose client wants to send hello world, right? Now this server, if you want to extend our project, you want to generically define this message, right? So for that, we will be designing our own very basic protocol, our rule, right? So that we can make a raw message like hello world to a structured message, hello world, right? A structured message, how we are making it is ki we'll make a data, right? We'll make a array where first few bits, first few 4 places will store the length of the body, right? Let's suppose the length of the body is 512 characters, so I will be storing here is 512, okay, whatever. So I will be storing here with 4 digits 512, right? So I'll be encoding the header 0512. I'll put zeros in prefix, so that I am just pretending to encode something secure. It's not secure, but what I'm saying is I will always represent the length as 4-digit length. Let's suppose the data that we are storing, hello world is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So we'll store 11 here, and if we have a null character also at the end of our character array. So this 11 plus 12, so what I'll do is I'll store 0012. So this is our simple message structure, right? That our server understand. So it has header, it has body, right? Header has the body length, and this body has the data. So this is a kind of protocol that we will be using. So this hello world, row hello world will come to server, will encode this message, will make this message such a way that our whole server is aware about how to get message length, how to get its body, how to access if it is a valid message or not, so that we can control the messages. We don't have to do everything again and again. What everything I am mentioning is, let's suppose hello world has some special characters, and in future your server don't want to handle the special characters. So when you have a message protocol, there you can write a function of validation, right? This is where ops या फिर object oriented programming comes, right? So that's why we need to design a message protocol first. I think this much text is fine. So whenever you are making a project, so basically for the guys who are new to CPP, I'm using a UTM, right? I'm using a UTM in Mac. If you have Mac M1, you can use UTM, and you can just search about the videos how to remotely connect to UTM Ubuntu server from VS Code. Any video you can refer, so that you can use because CPP syntax is way too easy to follow in Linux, right? The IntelliSense, the LSP, everything is good. But if you are using Windows, then WSL instead of UTM, replace WSL, right? So I'm hoping like this simple thing, my audience is intelligent enough to figure this out. So include IO stream, basically standard input output, whatever we use in C++. If not defined, chat. So the people who are all to our channel, they know that we always do if not defined, then define, and then end if, right? Okay, end if. Okay, and chat. Okay, now so you just go here and also check install boost library in Linux. You have to install boost library, so this sudo apt get install libboost, right? After this you will be able to use boost. So I'll also be digging deeper inside how to use debugger and event loop also when you will come to async IO, right? So as of now you can consider this thing, include boost asio.hpp. Yeah, it's working fine, right? But in message we just have to define the structure of the message, like our protocol. So this is not needed. Okay, this is our message. So I was just explaining you how you can use boost library. Anyways we have to use this. Okay, whatever. So we have to define message class. So there is a limit that we want to put, right, on the this thing, on the header that we have just explained you. So for that we'll put header length maximum to 4 and maximum bytes that it can have. So basically I'm considering one array, one character is equal to 1 byte. That's why the body length also I will put a limit. So before that let's use initializer list. So I want to make body length such that anyone who is using my message protocol wala message, he should be able to access my body length without any my functions should be able to access this body length. So what I'm doing is I'm making this body length and one data. So data is nothing but this one only, this thing, right? So data header I've not defined yet. Max bytes, size t, you can read more about size t. So basically whenever we are using to represent data length and everything which is not which can't be negative, so kind of there we use size t, body length underscore, right? So now this header and max bytes I have to max bytes. Max bytes 512, body length no header 4, right? Max bytes I have to make sure that the maximum bytes I can incorporate in my data is 512 and the header length should be 4. So whatever the bytes I'm gonna store in my data should be equal to 512, the max bytes, and the header should be represented using 4 bytes. So that's what I've just wrote. Standard string and message. Okay, so body length is equals to get new body length. So basically what I'm doing is I am making a basically typecaster. Basically whenever I will have a message, a raw message, I want to convert that raw message to my message, right? So I will accept one string. I should include string. And okay, so I have to make sure that if that body length, whatever I have the body length, so there is one validation. So first validation is get new body length. Okay, get no, message get new body length message dot string has length. New length, right? I think this is fine, right? Message dot length, or maybe I can use message dot size also. Let me go to inside message number of characters in the string. Okay, fine, size also works. Size t. Okay, if so I have just to make sure that if new length is more than max bytes, so return max bytes means even if client sends me a large message, I'll only be able to incorporate these much bytes, which is 5112. Otherwise you can, if the length is fine, you can just return that length and that's it, right? Okay, so first of all we have the first validation we have is the whatever the length is in code header. Now the second one is in code header. So basically I have just explained you that we'll be encoding header to always 4 digits, right? So what I will do is key this is void. Why? Because I will encode header, I will use this message, I will encode the header and I will store that header in my data itself, right? I don't have to return. So encode header. Okay, 27 minutes already gone. Encode headers char new header. So basically I am just making a placeholder, right? So header could be header maximum one, like maximum 4 bytes, 4 characters plus 1, because the null termination is also there. So I'll create a new character array, and what I'll do is I'll use printf function. If people don't know, let's go inside. So printf, this is a possible write format, write format, printf. Okay, so I don't think the explanation is there, but yeah. So printf we are using just to copy some stuff. So basically new header, into new header we want to copy, so we want a formatter. So basically for that we use printf. So basically as printf basically, right? So string print with format, whatever you can say. So then we call static cast. So basically what we want to do is we have this basically body length, right, which is in size t. So basically we are just converting it, and I think you can make sure you can like run it without conversion also. Just this is just a check. Then we are just blindly copying this, right? So whatever we have new header we have formed using this prefix 4 digits. So if there are no 4 digits, embed the zeros into the prefix. If there are 2 digits, embed 2 zeros in the front so that we can make 4 digits. That's what this printf is doing. And mem copy, for mem copy I think we have to include something. Memory mem copy into data, we want to copy the new header and how much so how much length we want to so basically new header, we have formed a new header, so from that we want to copy these much characters. So mem copy. So for mem copy, what is the include mem copy, from where mem copy comes, let me check. string.h, really? Okay, fine, it's coming from string.h or c string, or you can include string.h also, whatsoever you want to do. So yeah, that's how we are making a message, right? We are encoding a header, and after encode a header, we have make sure that this data and header I have made. Then only thing I have to store is, yeah, only thing I have to store is the data which is coming from this message. So basically I have formed this header which is 4 digits, right, from the body length, right, that we have just set up here. Then we have to make sure that the data is present. So I will start data plus header. So basically we are skipping first few bytes, plus we are directly, so basically header is already stored into the first 4 places. We are skipping those places, 4 places, and directly storing the data starting from the next place. So basically we are making sure that our pointer comes here, right? So from here, message dot cstr, so what it will do is key string return constant pointer to null terminal whatever. What it do is key, it will give you a character pointer to the character array. So basically I have the string, I have to make sure that it converts to a character pointer, because that's how this mem copy is designed. And I have to make sure that this you know this copy lasts till the body length, whatever the body length we have calculated here. So we have body length, we have used that body length. So it will, so if there is any extra space, what it will do is key, it will just null terminate that body, and you know it will just copy till this body length, and other 512 bytes, whatever the maximum bytes we will have, maximum places I should say, those will be empty only. So that's how we are constructing our message. So to further optimize it, I have just an idea ki to further optimize it, you can make it dynamic also, right? Something called vectors, but it's up to you, right? So then we have some getter, setter, all those kind of stuff. So get data, I will directly code this header. We have 4 bytes of header, and then we have body length, right? So basically what we are doing here is key okay, so yeah, we are just making sure that this result is returned. We are making a string, then we are, what we will do is key, this is the whole data that we'll get, then we'll define. So these are just the extra functions that you want to give inside your message protocol, so that whoever is using the message your constructed message, they have the some top of the methods that they can use out of the box, right? Okay, result is equal to videos on, right? Okay, okay, okay. So data string dot substring. So if I only have to return the data, then from the header till body length I will return result, right? So this is just to get whole data, and this is just to get the body. That is it, I think that is it. So whenever we are encoding header, our encode header, so we are, whenever our client is sending message to our server, we are encoding the message into our protocol. So whenever we are sending message, it's fine, right? It's fine, my server is able to understand this message. But whenever we are writing this message back to our client queue, we have to make sure that we are sending the raw data back. So we should have something called decode kind of header, right? So decode header will use, so advanced encoding also you can use, right? We didn't use that, but advanced encoding also you can use that. Again, header, we want to make a character array header plus null character termination, that's why +1, and this thing is fine. String copy, in new header we want to make we want to copy header from data, right? You can read more about these functions in this. If you don't find any explanation, go here, type man, right? You will be getting some documentation here, all the arguments, if it accepts character array, if it accepts pointer and everything. If you still don't find anything, then go to internet, obviously, right? If you still don't find on internet, ask LLM. New header, so we are null terminating it by ourselves, right? I think new header, yeah, header is 4, so 0 1 2 3, fourth character is null character. Yeah, fine. Okay, header value a to integer, character to integer. Okay, new header. Yeah, so what I've done is ki I've made sure that this header, I've copied the header, right, into my new header. Then I'm using that new header to convert it back to integer. So basically this 0 0 1 12, whatever we stored in character array, we're making sure that 0 0 1 12 will be converted to integer, which is 12 only, right? So basically encoding is putting zeros. If it is not of the number doesn't have 4 places, then we'll put the rest of the places with 0 prefix. If the number is huge like this, we'll not put any 0, right? If it has 1 0, then we'll make sure the decoding is 1 1 2. It's very simple decoding, right? To just give you an idea of how to make a protocol, very basic protocol. If header value is more than max bytes, so basically, which means somewhere we have messed up while constructing this whole thing. We have stored the body length more than the allowed length in this body, right? Which is why we are checking this. Then we can do we can do nothing, right? We don't want to write that body to back to our sockets, because see, in that case faulty data might go, some garbage data can go, not garbage collection. So in that case we'll send ki by we are not able to decode your header because something is going wrong. Otherwise what we'll do is you will set the body length to header value, because this header value now is decoded to integer, which has basically the numbers which represent nothing but your body length, and then we will return true कि भाई सब कुछ सही चल रहा है, don't worry, we have converted everything back to your whatever you wanted, right? Okay, अभी इस फटाफट chatroom.hpp लिखते हैं, हेडर फाइल लिखते हैं chatroom की, ठीक है? सो दैट ये तो हमेशा कर लिया करो, ठीक है? इफ नोट डिफाइन chatroom hpp, जो हमने मैसेज अभी बनाया है वो हम इंक्लूड करेंगे, message.hpp include. So set, why? Because participation set we have to make. Then memory, because of some other packages we have to include sockets. And we have to include some more libraries. How do I know? Because whenever I wanted to use some functionality, I just searched which library does provide this functionality and which function, Oh, IOStream is already. So boost library, ASIO package you have to include. That's all. So now we want to use a namespace called boost ASIO IP TCP. Now what does namespace is? I'll just go here. So this is a class TCP, right? So what happens is, let's suppose I have class TCP in my boost library in one package which is tcp.hpp. Now let's suppose I have one more class which is again TCP but not in IP. So basically what happens is, you have a boost package, into that you have ASIO folder, into that you have IP dot IP folder, some base file of IP, and into that you have TCP, right? So what happens is, let's suppose I didn't define any TCP, right? Or let's say I didn't define any namespace, right? What will happen is, let's suppose in this boost library I have one class called TCP, and I have another class called TCP again in another file. So how to distinguish that? So how we are distinguishing it is ki this TCP class is included into IP namespace. So namespace is nothing but an identifier which distinguishes different classes which might cause same name issues. So that's why this namespace I'm using. This namespace itself is nested in ASIO, and this is in itself is in Boost, right? So that's how these namespaces are defined. So that's why whenever someone use namespace, they can define their own namespace. Let's suppose I want to define namespace class chatroom. So the general code, whatever we used to write, will just go here. That's it. So someone, if you will try, will say कि भाई use this chat namespace first, and then you will be able to use this class. If we are not using any namespace, someone can directly use that class. Okay, so that is the power of namespace, and using this make sure that wherever you will import any TCP functionality will solely comes from this TCP. No more classes of named same will be used, right? So yeah, participant. So first one, we have to make sure a participant. So participant is nothing but an interface, right? So in C we can use virtual functions. Virtual function are nothing but which can be defined without any definition, right? So okay, so this is a pure virtual function which is equal to 0 भी आपने कर दिया. Virtual function. So a participant will have three main method, which is deliver, which can deliver. So participant is nothing but a session. Why? Because the main class is session, which will extend this class, right? So message equals to 0, and one destructor. This is nothing but default one. So now okay, so this participant, so basically whenever we are using a participant, so what we'll do is whenever a client is created, it will have its own session, right? Session is nothing but a participant itself, and this session will be a shared pointer. So you can read more about it, but the shared pointer is something called a good pointer to use whenever you want to define a pointer's ownership. So let's suppose in C, if you have done a C crash course, you would know that if I have made any pointer and that pointer is owned by multiple people, then multiple people can free that pointer, because everyone is pointing to the same pointer. So if one person is freeing that pointer up, then the second person will not have any access. So these kind of stuff can happen. But with a shared pointer, you can only own, our ownership is defined. So if I am owning a pointer and some other people, some other person wants to own it, I have to move my ownership to that person. I've explained that before also, but you can read more about it. But we'll use shared pointer. So that's why whenever you are using shared pointer, it comes from standard whatever. So the simple pointer, you will just make participant. That's it, participant star. Okay, whatever it came, but participant star you'll use. But for shared pointer, you have to make sure that you wrap this up in this, right? Participant. So wherever I will use participant pointer, so wherever I will type this, it will indirectly replaced by this line. So that's what type define or type def is used for, right? Now you will create a room. Okay, now before room we have to create a class session, which will nothing but it will extend a participant class. So a session is nothing but a participant, or you can say a session will always have participant, right? Okay, and one thing which it will use is enable shared from this. What exactly is this is, I will tell you. So whenever a session is created, right, so we are using that session, we are doing some stuff, but whenever we want to move this session to room, so basically every session joins a room, every instance of client instance is session joins a room, right? Because see, every session joins a room means कि I have to make sure that this session is owned by room, right? So that's why I have to use something called enable shared from this. So basically whenever I want to share my object or a pointer to this object, I can share that pointer as a safe way. So to share that, you have to make sure that public is written here. So I've debugged it for 30 minutes and I was missing public, something caused like weak pointer exception. But yeah, if you will use public and enable shared from this is key, then whenever a object of this class is created, you can pass that object as a pointer to someone and move the ownership of the object to not any of this class but to someone else, right? Yeah, so some stuff is there. So I'll create now this socket. I'm not using any C++ or C language inbuilt sockets. I'm using the boost IO sockets, right? So this default constructor will accept these things, these two things, right? So basically we are making a HTTP file. It will have nothing but only the signature, method signature, right? So it has start, it says deliver method. Every session can deliver a message to a room, right? Every session can write a message to room, not to room, basically every session can write a message back to the client whose session it belongs to, right? Async read. What this async funda is, I will explain you. Okay, private. So basically we have to have one socket. So basically every session will have one participant, I mean every session will have some client, right? So that's why we will store some sockets so that our methods can access those sockets directly. They don't have to get the socket from the parameters again and again. And another thing is stream buff. So this is a buffer. So whenever it is reading or writing, a buffer is needed. Basically whenever you are reading from sockets or writing to socket, a buffer kind of queue is needed where you put characters and those characters are put back to the socket, because socket is network based, it can take time. So when the time is there, the latency is there. So meanwhile those sockets will not accepting any new characters to write to. Then what they will do is they will use buffer only. So buffer is a kind of buffer right, a placeholder where the characters can go when the socket is not responding for some time, the latency is high, right? Okay, this and then double-ended queue message. You can make it as a queue only because I'll use it as a queue only. DQ message, and for DQ I have to include DQ. Okay, fine, I think, right? DQ, everything is done. Now coming back to the room. Now every room will have a join method which will accept a participant pointer. Participant, let's just make this as okay. So every join method will get some session pointer or participation pointer. And every participant can leave participant pointer. Okay, and every room will have a deliver function where a participant comes, right? Deliver method is one where participant will come and then it will deliver a message. It is very important, right? Just pay attention. it will deliver some message, and we are passing every message as a reference because it doesn't matter, right? Message, we are not doing any write or something like that. We are just reading body and all, and each message is handled by only one method. So you can do that. Even it has queue message, I've explained you, right? Every session, and it both has queue, this one and this one. Okay, message queue, max participant also we can define. Participant, and set of, I've already explained you that we have to make sure a set of participant is existent, because when you will send message back to clients, you don't want to send that message to the client who has sent that message already, right? So that is the reason. So participant pointer, and we will make a, so yeah, this is our all chat room method signatures. So now let's get back to code. Okay, you'll get the code well commented with LLD, everything in detail in comments, okay, in GitHub repo. Don't worry, after this you can just refer that repo. Okay, so first of all, whenever someone joins a room, right, what we want to do is, it will have participant pointer and it will have participant. What it is doing, okay, IO stream is already included here. I don't have to include again. I just have to include one thing, it is chatroom.hp. I think that should be fine. Yeah, so we just have to do participants dot insert function in the set, and we have to make sure that this participant is pushed back to the room. So whenever someone leaves the room, right, we just have to flush that pointer up. Okay, till this point everything is good. I think everything is understandable, right? So that should be fine. Void room deliver. Now whenever any participant is trying to deliver a message, what is it saying? Participant pointer, participant comes here to deliver a message. I think this is the signature. Yeah, so whenever a participant is delivering a message, right, whenever a participant is delivering a message, right, it is a participant obviously, so it will deliver a message like this, but it will deliver a message to the queue, because there could be a case that if it delivers a message directly to all the clients, it is possible that already the queue is full, right? If there is no queue, the server might be busy to handle already the clients who have sent the messages already. So that is the main thing. So this is a double-ended queue, that's why push back and push front is there, but you can use only a simple queue also. I don't know why I've used double-ended queue. Now when we have pushed that message, that client message to this queue, now this deliver method will try to deliver all the messages which are into the queue, right? And we have to make sure that we will not deliver that message again to the client who has sent that message already, right? So that is the main thing that we have to make sure. So until the queue is not empty, we want to make a message queue dot front message queue dot pop. So basically what we are doing is, we are doing nothing but we are just fetching that element first message, and then after fetching we are storing it, and now we have stored it, so the queue is consumed, that message is consumed, so we have to remove that message from the queue, nothing more than that, right? So that's how what you will do now is, participant pointer, you will go to the participant the participant set, and you have to make sure that this message that you are trying to send just now should not go to the client who has sent this message already in the past, right? So if the participant, if I'm trying a participant participant I think गलत मैंने चूज कर लिया वर्ड काफ़ी, it's hard to type sometimes. Okay, so the participant who is trying to deliver a message, it should not be the participant who we are trying to write a message to. So when it is not, then only we will write, right? So the one of the reason of defining these methods already is कि you will not get the exceptions. So because compiler knows that this method exists, right? So that's why it's not giving up any error, because it knows this method is already there in the chatroom.write. So that's why it's not giving error, although we have not implemented any body of that method yet, right? Okay, so write we have to I think we have to, for participant write I have to use async write, right? Cool. Okay, so void session write, it will get message, right? And message queue dot pushback message. So what we are doing is कि whenever that server is trying to write a message, it is, first of all, it is making a validation, which is कि I'm not sending a message back to the participant who is trying to deliver. I mean, it's not like I said hello in my WhatsApp group and I got hello back instantly, right? So I will deliver a client message directly. No, I'll put them in a message queue, then that message will be decoded and sent, the raw data will be sent, right? So I'm putting that in message queue first, and then I'm making sure that whatever the session I have chosen, this session all the messages I'm delivering, right? If the queue is piled up, so I'm making sure that I am able to deliver all the messages. Message queue. Okay, so first of all I'm taking my message out, which is message queue dot front. Okay, then message queue dot pop front. Okay, and then I'm trying to check if the message I'm trying back to I'm trying to write back to the client, if that is a valid header, a valid message. Is it does it contain the valid message body? Is it a short message enough according to my requirements that I will define the maximum bytes, which is I think 512, the 512 characters. So if those characters are there, only then I will send that message. So that's why we made decode header, which will send you true or false depending on the the message validation. If it is true, there is no going back. You can just use our method get body, and you can call async write. Now this async write, what is this async write, what does it do? All the event loops thing I'll come back, but let me write the code. As of now, you can just treat async write as a write function and async read as a read function. So what they will do is async write, whenever I'm trying to write back to the client, I'll basically write to the socket of that client, right? So to write that, I'm using async write, right? So whenever I'm reading to that socket into the server, I'm using async read. As of now, just treat async as a read write only. Forget about async. We'll come to that part really soon, right? Message dot get body length. I have not defined this method. I think that's a getter only, right? The people who are aware about Java, they know like how to use getters, I think, right? Okay, else you just have to make sure that you are telling the person that message length exceed the max length allowed, right? So this is your right function, I think. Okay, so let's write other functions also of session, right? So that another function is deliver. So whenever a session is created for a client and it wants to deliver a message, right? Okay, so it will just do room dot deliver. So room is for every session we have room, right? So basically a session only exists because there is a room available for that session. That's why I have already one-to-one mapped one session with one room, right? So room dot deliver shared from this. What does it mean is key if you will go to deliver wants okay, share to this and message. So whenever you want to deliver a message to a room, so you have to join that room, right? You have to present in that room, so that my session is, my session only belongs to that room at the moment. It doesn't belong to anyone else. So that's why I'm using shared pointer. I'm passing my ownership. So basically whenever I'm into the deliver method, this participant pointer or a session pointer is owned by this deliver or room. So that's why I'm using this shared from this. How this is coming is because I have created this, right? We'll come to that how I am creating this pointer itself. But as of now, you can just treat the deliver method is nothing but it gives the ownership of session to room and it delivers a message. And we have already explained the deliver method here, right? Okay. uh, Now whenever the session is starting, we have to make sure the session start function is also there. So after accepting a client connection, we have to start a session. So we have to create this thing and then async read. So what is happening is whenever we will accept a connection, right, whenever we will accept a connection from the client, we'll try to join a room, right? Then after joining a room, we'll try to read whatever the client is trying to send to that session or to that server. Session is in the server actually, right? So yeah, that is there. So let's go to this thing, accepting a connection from client. That is most important actually. So one boost package will use from ASIO only, IP address v4. What does it do? We'll come to that point later on. So accept connection, one method I'm making. What it will do, it need some things which is IO context, right? What is IO context? Don't worry, I'll explain you. That's why I'm making this video. Otherwise you can refer this kind of project from anywhere, right? Let me complete this, then I will come to the point why we are doing this, why we are accepting a connection and accepting something called IO context, right? So whenever I have IO context, assume I have IO context, right? I'll create the socket from this. You can go inside the socket, right? So socket option to disabling and implements the TCP nodeless socket option boost IO. So my context. So my context is IO context. What does IO context mean? I'll explain that. Don't worry. But let me check any other app. Okay, whatever. So I'll get a acceptor async accept. So now here I will go give a lambda. So lambda is nothing but a function that you can define inline, right? And this and is nothing but you are passing all these things collectively in this function. So basically it's nothing but a kind of defining a function of name xyz and passing all these parameters whatever accept connection has here and then defining a function. So instead of doing all this, I can do I can define a lambda function. Apart from this, this function, after the running this function, it will give two things, which is either it will throw error code, or after accepting the connection it will basically it will have socket also. This thing, I think this yeah. So if error code is not 1, so basically if the error code is 0 basically, so it means I'm able to accept a connection from client. And when I'm able to accept a connection, I have to make a session first of all for that client, right? For that I have to make sure I'll make a shared pointer so that that session can be shared, the ownership of that session can be shared later on. Make shared is the inbuilt function, the generic template. So I'll move, so here you have to move the socket and room. What does it mean is, let's say, okay, so whenever you want to make a session, it accept two things, socket and room. But I want this socket is nothing but basic stream socket. If you'll go here, basic socket protocol, basic protocol, socket base shutdown socket. Okay, I was trying to find how this socket is a pointer, but anyways, this socket is a if you'll go to move, so it accepts as address, so it will move the ownership of that, whatever you want to move the thing, it will move that. And now this session will own this socket, so that's what I'm using here, and making a session as a shared pointer. So now after making an instance of that point session, I'll start. So in start we already explained that after we have made session, in start we'll join a room. Now whenever we are joining a room, we also want to share this session ownership with the room, so that's why we are using shared from this. It is possible because we have made a session shared pointer itself. Okay, whatever, if it works, I have to make sure that I'm accepting connection again and again and again and again, kind of while loop. So that's why I have to do this. Okay, cool. This and fine. Int main, so let's write our main function, int arg c character argv. So these are just the argument that comes from terminal. So in terminal I'll do like this, chat app, which is my executable, and I'll give my port. So first argument in character argv will be this, and second one will be this. So I need second one actually, so the index is 1. If a user gives less than 2 arguments, what I will do, I'll throw error. I'll define key how you should use it, whatever your server thing is, you can do here. Else what you will do, so whenever this class starts, you create a room, right? One room is enough because you are creating a broadcast server, so every server has one room, multiple session. So every session many to one mapping is there, so multiple session can join one room, or multiple participant. That's why we have set of participant and all those kind of things, right? But yeah, boost asio io context io tcp endpoint. How does I know like about all these functions and all? I just have spent like 2 weeks in this library boost io, right? And how does it work, and I've seen a couple of examples of different people, I've learned from them, and then I have come to know that how to use this. So this argv is nothing but our port that will give, and we are making it an integer, and this endpoint accept 2 things. So if you'll go endpoint key definition, we don't have endpoint, basic endpoint. Okay, basic endpoint, it has one constructor and it has address, right? So we have to give address and port, got it, and TCP. Then we have to make sure the acceptor is there. Acceptor needs only few things, basically IO. Now IO context is the better name. argv is the port, right? Acceptor, no, IO context, acceptor, what does it accept? Context it accepts, then it accepts one constraint is convertible and value and type. Okay, so basically acceptor TCP endpoint, TCP v4 arg. I have made one endpoint, right? I can give that endpoint here. I don't have to make that again, right? Now I'll call accept connection function here. IO context, so that function that we have just written, acceptor room that we have just created, endpoint. This room is created using its default constructor, like no args constructor, no argument constructor, right? IO context dot run. Let's see what this method is. If it, like, I know what this what does this method do, but anyway, scheduler, yeah. Okay, now I'll explain you what this async behavior is. So there is something called event loop, right? And this is a stack, this is event loop. So the JavaScript people knows. So we have done one thing, which is we have made one accept connection. So basically accept connection is a async accepting connection. Why does it so? Is key because we see we have IO context. So IO context is nothing but this scheduler, right? This is a our queue, our event loop queue. So this is our IO context and dot run. So basically what does it do is it manages all the life cycle of all the async functions. So our first async function that we have done is async accept. So we'll register this async accept function here with callback. What callback is, we give a function. See, this async accept has a function with reference, right? This lambda function. So this lambda function will be called when this async function will run, right? So this is called non-IO blocking nature. What will happen is ki our sync code, the sync code is like when you write print hello world, right? Then you call function 1, then you call function 2, then you call async function. So what will happen is first you will print hello world, it will go to stack here, right? Then it will run, hello world will be printed on your terminal. Then this function will run, then this function will run. But now you have, let's suppose, func2. So now this, after running all this function in our call stack, now when this function is coming and then this function is coming, what will happen is key, it will not run this function, first. It will put that function here, right? And this function should have some callback, so that when this function will run, this callback or this wake up code can be run, right? This callback has all the parameters by reference, by address. It knows the address of all the parameters in memory. So whenever it will run, it will have all the parameters in its scope and it can run everything smoothly. So when this function will exit, After that, this call stack is empty. Now this IO context.run is constantly fetching all the async stuff from the loop. Now the first async accept is this, so this will run. You will accept the connection. Now let's suppose after accepting the connection, you have async read from client connection, from client socket. You have async read. That function will go after this. Because call stack is empty, all the sync code is run, whatever the sync code we have written, like decode header, encode header, whatever. After that, we are running the callbacks that are registered in the async function, and these callbacks have something in reference. So all the arguments they have in reference, so they can run those arguments anytime. So that's the crisp of IO context, these async stuff, right? So we have written right, we have async read, we haven't written async read, and we haven't written async write. I think those two functions only left, if I'm not wrong. Let's somewhere define our async read. So after accepting the connection, whenever the client is connecting to the server, the IO context.run will see now accept connection will wake up, and then all the parameters it will have, then it will start the session for that room. All of that will run async, not in sync or real time, but in after some wait, right? Now let's write some so shared from this, whatever I have shared, whatever other session I am having, I am storing that to self, so that I can pass that shared session to my callback, because now I am doing async read. So I have accepted the connection from client, but I will not read until client type something, because on client side, when I will write client, the client will be waiting for user to input the message. Till that point, this function is registered into the memory or into the IO context. This function will not run until it didn't get any message, right? Because it's async. So that's why I have to make sure the session is passed to this async read. So whenever it wants to use some session stuff, it has the access, right? So I have to pass that by reference also, async read until. So we have one function from boost library, client socket. Per session we have already client socket, right here. Every session has one client socket. So from that socket I will try to read, and I'll try to read in the buffer. We have used stream buff, right? If you go inside here, you will see that it accept one async read stream, which is socket, and then it accept dynamic buffer. It will go, if you'll go more deeper, you'll find that is this async dynamic buffer is nothing but a stream buffer, right? That we have already defined. Okay, buffer, and we want to read until enter comes. Basically enter is this new line, whatever, right? Cool. And then this reference and self. I think this is it. Okay, so apart from this, it will have system error code EC, and it will have size. So whenever I'll accept the connection, it will show if it is throwing any error, or if it is what does it do? Okay. If there is no error code, string data boost SIO. So I've just seen this on internet, how we use buffers, right? So it is just that we use buffers, data begin, data end, like kind of vectors only, and so wherever the data from the buffer is starting, plus whatever the bytes are transferred from the client. So it will make sure that buffers.data or buffer.data, I think buffer.data, yeah. So it is storing everything in string data. So now we'll do, after making this data with with this kind of characters, we have to make sure that we are able to store the data. So we'll consume bytes bytes transferred. So using this now, whenever I'm calling consume method, so in consume I have given how many bytes I want to consume. So what it will do is remove characters from the initial sequence, remove n character from the input stream, and m buffer consume the consume basic stream buff. Okay, stream buff consume, it has the buffer consumption only, and the buffer is this. And I have to, after consumption, I have to store the, though I can call received. So whenever I'll receive the data from my client, I want to print, and when I'll get the data, I want to construct a message from the data. Now whenever I'm reading from the client, I'm reading a raw message, then I'm converting that raw message to my protocol that I have defined, a very basic protocol, right? That only will use, and deliver message, then we'll want to deliver. And in deliver, what we'll call, we call nothing, we just join the room and start, kind of, right? We just deliver, and in deliver it's just that deliver, right? So after deliver method, we'll keep reading because the client is still running, it can send more stuff. अदरवाइज क्या करेंगे, अगर हम और रीड नहीं कर पाते, उसने कंट्रोल सी दबा दिया तो कुछ एरर कोड आएगा, कंट्रोल सी से क्लाइंट कनेक्ट मतलब वो हो जाएगा, क्या बोलते हैं, डिस्कनेक्ट हो जाएगा. सो मैं क्या करूँगा, मैं उसका लीव मेथड कॉल करूँगा. अब लीव मेथड को क्या होता है, लीव मेथड नीड्स पार्टिसिपेंट पॉइंटर, राइट? सो पार्टिसिपेंट पॉइंटर विल बी मेकिंग श्योर that it is erasing its participant. And if the error code is end of file, so basically whenever you click control C, the error that will be thrown is end of file. So then you can type connection closed by peer, yes, and L. If it is not, then the only reason is key you are not able to read the stuff, read error. Okay, so async read is done. Async write, so async write we need whenever so whenever we are writing a message, a protocol message from our session to our client, whoever the client has session, we want to make sure the server is sending the message. So this async write is nothing but is called in the write method of whenever someone is trying to write in our room, right? So string, it will have message body, it will have message length. Okay, write handler. Now this is again a lambda kind of thing. Now we are declaring it in different manner. So whenever we are basically writing, so we want to make sure that we make a handler, right? Data is returned to the socket, else we throw an error, write I'll explain you, don't worry. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm using inbuilt function async write of boost, and it has socket stream, it has buffer, and it has write token. Token is nothing but see it's a kind of write handler. So token is a kind of function, right? The Java people, they know the function interface stuff. So it will go more deeper here. Sorry, here write token, and write token is nothing but error code and size t function. See, void function, right? So this is what we have defined, a function signature, that is nothing but a write handler. So it has error code and a byte transfer, and this handler will be token. So basically inside this async write boost io, this write handler will be called whenever everything is done. It will try to handle the write, like read, right? Read, where is read? Yeah, here. So whenever we are reading, so async till read until whatever, and here, right? So we are using some of the past stuff here, right? This self, where are we using self? Okay, fine. So I think we have everything set up, right? We just have to make sure we write a client. What is it saying? Return 0. This, oh, okay, catch exception is we haven't written catch code. Okay, so I think this is fine. Yeah, now every code error is removed, and this is just fine. Okay, so now we have to write a client, right? Client.cpp. So client cpp is kind of interesting, right? So we have to include message.hpp, we have to include iostream, we have to include boost asio.h. using boost, I'll code it really fast, because I have already coded this and there is nothing to explain, but I'll explain, don't worry. Auto buffer, so async read. So whenever someone is sending message back to my client, I have to read that. Into a buffer, right? Socket I have to read from the socket, and I am using a buffer defined by boost only, and I want to read until end of the file, and then it accept one lambda function also, which we want to give a socket also. That's not picking up socket anyways. So basically I'm not doing nothing but giving here a read handler, right? Instead of making that explicitly, I'm just making that here. So this is called argument captor. So basically in lambda, if we want to use something from outside, we have to make sure to pass like this, right? And whenever it is running, it will either throw error code, which will come directly from boost whenever it is using that handler, whichever I am writing, and size t length, right? Length. Now if there is no error code, then what I'll do is I'll make a stream. So then again, don't bother about the streams and all this, you can just check from internet. because see, this syntax you don't have to remember. It's hard to remember, I know, but you just have to remember like get line, how you know use get line. So get line is received is nothing but input stream. So whatever the server is sending, we'll print like this, and we want to make sure we are reading infinitely, right? Okay, now so whenever we are coding a client, we have to make sure our resolver is there to resolve an address and port, right? So that's why I have made connect socket resolver dot resolve. So second argument is port anyways, that will give. So yeah, so I want to read from that socket. If anything is coming from that socket, read that. And now I'm creating a thread. Why I'm creating a thread, I will tell you, don't worry, right? I will tell you why I'm creating a thread, just to print something, right? Hmm. In a crash course of C, I have explained why we are using get line instead of C in or something like that, right? So whenever I'm entering a message, I'm reading it in this message, then what I'm doing is I'm posting this context, right? Okay, is there any error? Okay, no. So boost io post method, right? So what it is doing is exactly key boost io write socket whatever. So whenever I'm writing a data, right, whenever I'm writing data to the socket, that is basically writing data to server, which will be given to session, then to room, then to deliver to the all other clients which are connected to that room, right? So that's where this client is basically sending that data, but this all happening is in thread, right? So whenever it is getting data, async read, so async read is happening here, right? So whenever I'm using async read, this is running in the main thread, this is running in the different thread. So I am writing the data in different thread, and the data which is coming from the server is printed from the different thread. So two threads are basically running. Why? I'll remove a thread and I'll try to explain you why this is the case. But before that, let's make a make file. So I'll not explain, it's just like written everything here, right? What I am doing here is I'm using G++, C++ library, right? What it will do, it will pick chatroom.cpp, client.cpp as two source files. It will try to convert all the source server source files to like all the cpp files to O. So this is the this is the target, and this is the prerequisite. So all the prerequisite will come from here, right? C flags O, and this make file you can just put in chat gpt and check what it is, right? And the people who are new to our channel, they can follow our crash course of C, and cpp crash course is also coming very soon. Yeah, whatever. So in VS Code, I don't think you have to set up a launch JSON file, not sure. But if you want to set a debugger, that also I'll tell you today only. Launch. So launch.json file you will always need if you want to debug your code, right? So what this launch this function is, key, you will just go here and gdb attach, right? So something like this will come, right? But I don't want to use this, I want to use launch gdb. So launch file will come, and this cwd will be anything is same, like everything is same, sorry. And which is your main file from. So whenever you'll run make file, it will compile all the things and will generate two main executable. One is chat app, which is our server, one is client app, which is our client, right? So the main this debugger we want to connect to is workspace folder, whatever our folder is, which is our this folder, the outer one, root folder, and there we'll have chat app. So this is the launch json file that it will explain. Everything is in the description, github repo, don't worry, सब कुछ है वहाँ पे, you can refer, no worries. So basically I have basically commented, ठीक है, पूरा comment मैंने कर दिया है, right? Everything is commented here, right? And everything is sorted out, even the readme is there, whatever we are doing, right? Fine. So let me show you the process of making a file first. So I'll use this thing. Let me close everything, I think. Okay, so I think every terminal is visible. Let me, okay, now I think everything is visible. Fine. Okay, so you can run make clean command, which can basically remove all my generative files. There is no generative file actually. Then you can run make command, right? So let me show you the working first. So I'll run the make command, right? Then I'll have two main apps, which is chat app and the client app. Where is client app? Client app, right? So I'll run chat app on port. How I'm running it is key, let me show you. So a chat app executable space 9099 is the port, enter. Now this service is running fine. Now there is no client connection. Client app, first client is trying to connect 9099. Now it's connected. Now this is the thread. This is the different thread where we are always asking input. You can put debugger points also. How to put that I'll tell you, don't worry. So everything is like enter a message, everything, this shit is going here in the different thread. So this is the different thread, not the main thread. So hello, this hello received in the server, but that hello is not coming back to this client which has sent the hello message, right? Now let's connect another client app. Now this is the C2 client. Now if I will send hello, it will get hello. Now C1 is sending message, and same room has this client, so C1 message is able to deliver to C2. Now let's go client app 9099. Hey guys, what's the plan on weekend? So C1 got the message, c2 got the message, but this client is not there. So I'll close the connection, connection closed by peer, right? Let's remove this client. Now these two clients are there. Now let's go, right? Hey, received this message. So every client is able to send a message to the server is printing that, and all other clients are getting those messages back, right? And the client who is sending the message is not getting the message back. So that is where this stuff is going on. Why I have used the extra thread here? Because async read, wherever I'm reading. So let's suppose, hey man, what you are doing? Now this client is sending c2, this is a c2, it is sending a message. So c1 will get a message from server, so it has to async read, right? And in the same time it's basically writing to the server, right? So if it is constantly waiting for the write, how it will read whatever it is coming to the socket? So that's why I have to use two threads so that my terminal can behave accordingly. So now if I send, this is able to print the message, and at the same time it's asking for my input. Now let's close everything, right? And let's remove this thread. Let's remove this thread context. Now I have removed this. Now let's clear everything up and make tjoin, my bad. Terminal, make. Okay, now let's start chat app 9099 port. Let's connect client 9099. 99. Okay, client 9099. Now c1 is connected, c2 is connected. Only one thread is running, which is main thread. That thread only is reading from the socket whatever is coming from the server. That thread only is writing to the server. So if I type here hello, nothing is happening. I have to make two threads, that's why, right? Let's remove everything, right? And let's close this complex stuff. Let's make everything clean. Now let me show you how to run debug mode. And the people who are new to our stuff, our channel, please subscribe and make sure you always use debugger perfectly. Now let's go to chatroom and let's put some debug point here. So let's put debug point in the main function only, right? When we create room, so we'll run our program, it will stop here. We can check whatever is defined till this point, like whatever the variables exist, argc, argv, till this point we will be able to see those, right? Let's see. And whenever we are accepting a connection, read, put a debug point there. And whenever we are reading, async read, put there debug point, right? That's how I'm able to debug. If you have, like, if you follow me on Twitter, you will know that this I made a tweet, right? Like, yeah, I'm not able to debug this. So yeah, whatever. So now because of this launch JSON file, you will be able to go here, gdb launch, right? And click on this point, right? Now your debugger is on, it stopped here. So now till this point, everything you can see whatever you have defined. Okay, even CPU registers you can see, right? CPU register. Okay, fine. Let's go room is created. Now till this point room should be created. You can go into the room, your queue is created. This room, whatever you created, has the queue, has the set with 0. Now if you want to run anything, let's suppose room, let's suppose you want to maybe ask message queue, because till this point I have the access to the room and it should have the access to the message queue. And size, users function, okay, room dot message queue. Okay, let me check. It is a private. Okay, private I can't access. Join. Okay. Oh, whatsoever. Let's suppose if room has some method and I want to test. I don't want to test that method in the code, but I want to test if that method is working. Till this point, I can directly call that method in debugger mode, right? So let's skip to all the debug point. Now the accept connection is called, but accept connection, we are just registering this accept connection as a async method into our event loop. Till this point no client has been connected to this server, right? So that's why this accept connection is registered in the IO context, but not it's not running. Now when I will run client app, now this client app will try to connect to server. Now it will come to join. Now everything will work as fine. Now async read is happening. Now async read is accept connection is again and async read is registered into our IO context. Now well, I'll return hello guys. Okay. First of all, I have to go back and I have to make sure this is happening in threads. Make okay, I have to recompile all of that because I changed my thread code. So now client will be able to okay, let's run everything fine. Now client 9099, it will come to join. It will register async read, but it will not do anything. Why? Because it's not have typed anything. Hello guys, enter. Now it is reading something. Let me, yeah, async read. Now it is happening. Where it is happening, see, the async read was registered when client connected, but it didn't run. Then we typed hello guys. Now the message came back. Now this callback function is registered, right? Is registered, and now this callback function is running. Our call stack is already empty. There is no call stack active. All functions are async read. Everything else has been run already. Like what I'm talking about is in main function there is sync code, which is not async, like making a room, everything is done. Now when accept is coming, now my call stack is empty. Now my callback of async read has callback. It can come into the queue and run. That is the power of async IO. So I hope everyone understood. Okay, I hope everyone understood today's project, right? It was awesome and I think you should share on Twitter यार. रीच नहीं आती है, कुछ नहीं करते हो तो, एंड 2-2 घंटे की वीडियो बनाने में आप कुछ नहीं वापस देते हो, बट ओके. So we'll come back soon with some updates around DBMS and special launch, not a course but something. This project you can extend, you can apply encryption, you can apply advanced encoding on headers, you can apply what else you can apply? You can apply analytics, how many clients are connecting, how many clients are leaving, you can make logs, right? How else you can extend the project? Just comment, right? Just comment, I'll approve if the extension of that project makes sense, right? We'll meet in next video. Till then, bye bye.